Hi, this is Happy Bird from happybirdsglitternest.blogspot.com, and today I wanted to show you the beautiful little crosses I made with nothing more than popsicle sticks and really chunky glitter paper, scrapbooking paper from Michaels. And this was so easy to make, and they turned out really pretty. I just used little acrylic pearls and 6/0 e-beads and added a little charm to the bottom and this really inexpensive rhinestone close chain. So stay tuned and I'll show you exactly how I put everything together because it turned out so nice, and I think you're really going to enjoy this tutorial. Okay, I did a lot of experimenting with the glitter paper, from using the very fine glitter paper to the textured paper, and I truly found that the glitter paper that made the most beautiful crosses was the real chunky glitter. As you can see here, it's very, very chunky. So I would highly suggest getting that. I bought this at Michaels, and the glitter paper there was $1.99 for a 12-inch by 12-inch sheet, and you can actually get quite a few crosses out of that. And I do know that this goes on sale off and on during the year for $1 a sheet, especially as it gets closer to the holidays, and they really start bringing in some beautiful glitter paper during that time. So I would highly recommend getting the very chunky glitter sheet. And this is an example of another one, and I'll be using this one today. So with that said, we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is you're going to need some craft sticks. And these are 4.5 inches long by 3/8 of an inch wide. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take 2 of those sticks. You're going to need 2 for each cross. And then you're going to take a good pair of sturdy scissors. I bought these Stanley scissors at Lowe's, and I just love these. They were towards the bottom of the shelf. There was a whole box full of them, and they sell them for like $2 and something cents, a little under $3. And these are the best heavy-duty scissors. I was really disappointed I didn't pick up more, so I went back and they were out of them, which wasn't surprising. And so I'm going to have to go back and I'm going to get a couple pair more because I really like these scissors. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to cut off the rounded part like this. And I just put this at the very back of the blade and do this. Now, you're not going to be able to use your Dollar Tree scissors on this or something like that. It has to be a fairly heavy-duty pair. And then I'm just going to cut this end off right here too. I'm not measuring for this one. This is going to be the length of the cross. Now for the arms of the cross, what I like to do is I just cut off the rounded part on one side like this, and then I measure this out to be 3 1/4 inches, and then put a little pencil mark there and then cut the rest off, so I'll know that I have 3.5 inches for the arms of the cross. So I'm going to do that now over here. Let's see. So just did a little pencil mark. It doesn't have to be exact, but pretty close to exact. There we go. So as you can see, we now have our cross. Okay? Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over, and I'm going to cut a little square off here just so it'll be easier for you to see what I'm doing, so I won't have to mess around with this whole huge sheet here. So let me do that very quickly off to the side. Okay. And then that way we have this to work with. Alright, so what I like to do, there we go, is I like to take Aleene's Turbo Tacky Glue, and make sure it's turbo because it does make a difference. There's more resin in this, and so it'll really hold. And I'm just going to put a little line of glue like this from top to bottom, and just start dabbing, making sure I'm covering all the edges, just like so. All the way down. Okay. Then I am going to turn this upside down and then press it down like so. And these actually dry fairly quick. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the arms with a cross. And if you notice, I'm leaving a little bit of an edge here with the paper because you're going to need to be able to get in there with your scissors to cut around that, and I'll show you all the little tricks that I used along the way. And believe me, I made a lot of these crosses, so you can learn from my mistakes too. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to let this dry for about, maybe an hour or so. And then I'll come back and we'll finish them up. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to cut this right down the middle here. And I'm using my little detail scissors for this part. Cutting this in half. I like to start by putting the blade up against the ends and then cutting it like this. And you don't want to put it so close that you're pressing hard, but just close enough like that. Now this is the part that can be tricky because if you're not holding your blades straight and you have them off to the side like this, you could end up cutting into the side of the wood here very easily. Ask me how I know. So I'm going to be as straight as I can, but I'm not going to be pressing really hard. And you might be thinking, well, what if there's a small amount of paper on the edge and you are unable to get it close enough and it kind of looks raggedy like this? Well, I'll show you what to do about that part, okay, in a moment. And once again, I'm keeping my blade straight and I'm cutting, but not too close to the edge. Okay, so as you can see, there's a teeny tiny amount, but not much. You're going to take a fingernail file, and don't get the junky ones at the Dollar Tree, get the good ones. This is a Revlon brand. And you just do this, just a few swipes on each side, and look, it flattens the paper right up against the wood. And you do the same thing on this side. You only have to do it a couple times on each end. There we go. Then just do this. And there you have it. So you have one side of your cross. Now you're going to do the exact same thing on the back of the cross. We're going to put the glue on, just like we did before, like so. And I know it looks like the glitter is shedding, but it's really not. This is a good brand of glitter paper. it's just as I'm cutting, you know, parts of the glitter might fall off here or there, not a whole bunch, but here or there. And that's fine, because by the time we're finished with the cross, believe me, everything will be in its place. Okay, and we're going to just do the same thing. Let it dry for about an hour. And I'm going to cut around this one and put it right next to here. So let me finish this up, and then I'll be back and we'll just continue making this. Okay, so I'm just going to continue doing what I did before. I cut this end already, and I'm going to cut the side, keeping my blade straight and getting close, but not so close that I'll dig into the wood. And I like doing both sides of the cross just to make it look really finished. And hang on to your little bits and pieces. You can do a lot of different types of crafts with these, including tags, which are a wonderful, easy, and quick way to use up your little glittery tag scraps. Okay, make sure this is cut a little more. And okay, so this looks pretty good. I'll just need to continue doing what I did the first time. Smooth it down, make it look nice. These are so inexpensive to make. They make lovely little gifts or package decorations. People can take it off and just hang it on their tree. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to work on the sides. As you can see, the sides are raw. Now I have a couple of pins here. One's the 18 karat gold leafing pen by Krylon, and the other one is the silver leafing pen. Now if you don't have these, you can also use the metallic paint pens. I would not recommend Sharpies, but the actual paint pens. And so let me grab a bottle cap here and shake this up. Get it pumping, and I'm just going to do this. Now you're probably asking, well, why didn't you do this at the very beginning before you actually covered your crosses? Well, there's a reason for that. Because I did try it beforehand when I was doing little prototypes of my crosses, and sometimes the scissors would scrape it or scratch it along the way, and I'd end up having to go back in and retouch it. So it was just easier to do it this way. And I just try to match the color of my glitter paper. So if you have a set of paint pens or metallic paint pens that you can match up with a glitter paper, then that's really nice. I don't have a whole lot of paint pens. I have this silver and the gold leafing pen, but Oh, and I think I have a red paint pen in there. But that's about it. So I'm going to allow this to dry for a while because it is paint. It's not something you can pick up right away and just start messing with. Otherwise you're going to get paint all over your hands. But see, when we do this, it covers up any white here on the edge, and it also covers up the wood. Just like that. Just makes it look a little more uniform. And do that all the way down. Okay, so now I'm just going to allow that to dry for, oh, I'd say a good hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. It actually depends on where you live. If you live in a dry climate or a humid climate. The climate that I live in is really dry most of the year. Although it's been slightly humid lately, but for the most part it's very dry. So I'm going to allow that to thoroughly dry so I won't get a bunch of paint on my fingers. And then we'll come back and do the rest, and you'll see just how beautiful these turn out. Okay, so the arm of the cross is 3 1/4 inches. Now if you want to, you can just measure it and find the center, but I just found this was so much easier. I just traced this little cardboard piece that's 3 1/4 inches, and I bent it in the middle and then made a little hole right there. So all I have to do instead of measuring it is I just place it on the arm of the cross and take my little black ultrafine tip Sharpie pen and just make a little mark on this. And I don't know if you can see it. I can see it though, especially when I turn it from the side. I can see that little teeny tiny black mark. So I kind of know where the middle is now. So what I'm going to do is just put some hot glue on that little dot right here, about like that. And I'm going to place this behind the cross about 3/4 of the way up, like that. And I'm just going to hold it as to exactly where I want this to be. Just hold it for a few seconds and it will grab. Okay. And as you can tell, I didn't put so much hot glue that it squished out of the sides here, because you don't want that. Alright, so that looks pretty nice right there. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little heart right in the middle. And let me get that. I thought I had it out. Oh, maybe not. Now I know that Dollar Tree, let's see, has a sheet of sticky hearts in all different colors, and I used that for the other 2 crosses that I showed you. However, for this cross, since it's gold, I want to use the little red hearts that I bought at the Dollar Tree during Valentine's Day. They had a whole sheet of them with different sizes, so this is just a little tiny piece that I cut off. And you're probably wondering why I'm using this instead of the red in here, and the reason why is because for some reason the hearts that are supposed to be red in this particular package to me look a little more on the orange side, so I'm using these. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just take a little heart, and you can use anything if you want. You could use a little resin rose piece, a small one, and put it in the middle. Anything you'd like, but I like the hearts. And I'm just going to just leave it like that, okay, and let it dry. And then we're going to work on the next thing. We're going to work on this part of the cross, and this is very easy to do. I'm just using upholstery thread, and I found this at Walmart and where the regular thread is, and it says upholstery at the top really small. That's the only way you'll be able to tell it apart. It's just, you know, being able to look closely and read that where it says upholstery. And it's ultra strong thread. Nothing breaks this. And as far as I know, they only have it in black and white, but it's well worth getting it. So let me get my little needle and my little bead pad here. I'm going to cut just a short length of thread after I thread the needle. I have to use these needles where I pull it down on the top like that to thread it. My eyes, I just can't see to thread regular needles anymore. Oops, excuse me. And I'm just going to tie it in a knot here, but I'm going to leave at least a couple of inches at the end. Just tied it in a couple of knots. See, and I'm leaving a couple of inches at the end. And I'm using these acrylic pearls. These are 4mm, and I do have the link as to the person that I bought this from. It was 99 cents, but with free shipping. They had them in all different sizes, from 4mm to, I believe, 10mm. But this is just the mixed bag. You can order them in individual colors, but this is just, I ordered it in mixed. And these little beads are I don't know if you can see, but they're multicolored, each one of them. So I'm going to pour a little bit out here. Don't use the glass pearls, because sometimes the glass pearls you might have difficulty fitting over to this needle at the top. So I just use acrylic beads. They're cheaper, lighter weight, and they the holes are just so much larger. Okay, so I'm just going to thread these on, and I'll start with a pearl. And I'll make these maybe, let's see, maybe, I'm not sure yet. I'll just keep beating. And I'm also going to use these little 6/0 gold seed beads to place in between. And I think I did 13 round beads. So I'll just count 13 round beads and then tie it off. And once again, these are 4mm. I'll give you the link to this, but it will be on my blog. I no longer put external YouTube links in the description box below this video because of YouTube's new policy. But all links will be on my blog, and all patterns too, if I have any patterns. So I'm just slipping this on randomly, and I'm just going to count out 13 pearls. You could use the 3 or 4mm rosary chain, but it's pretty expensive. The rosary chain's really pretty, but It generally runs anywhere between $6 and $15 per foot, not per yard, per foot. And it can get a little pricey. So I'm just doing this, and I think that it turned out really pretty on these crosses. The multicolored pearls. And it's kind of symbolic in a way for the pearl of great price, huh? There we go. And so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 7. And you can work on these like an assembly line, doing one step at a time. Maybe even have your kids help you with the threading here of these little beads. They might like that if they're old enough, so they won't stick themselves with a needle. This is very relaxing to do. Okay, and so far I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to need 3 more pearls before I tie it off. The little gold beads are just the spacer beads. Let me get a pink one. I'm not finding a hole. Let's see. There we go. Let's see if I can do this with my old eyes. You can certainly do this. Okay, and then one more little bead. Okay, so we have 13 here. So I'm just going to cut this needle, or the thread I should say, off the needle. Set that aside. And I'm just going to tie this with 2 knots. Whoops! No, just at the... Oops. I don't know what I did there. Hold on. Okay, let's try that again, huh? Okay. There we go. Okay, see, we're tying that together. 1 and 2. And that's all. Make it nice and strong. And then cut this off right at the top of the knot. Alright. Now, on this part, you're just going to take a little gloss. This is just the Mod Podge Super Gloss. It dries like clear glass. And I'm going to set this aside for just a second because I want to set this down on this wax paper. And I'm just going to dip my finger in this and just dot with this gloss on top of the knot here, just so it'll stay in one place and it won't unravel. Now you're going to allow it to dry, and what I do is I kind of shape this into an oval. kind of like an oval shape, like an egg shape. And then I just allow it to dry thoroughly, and then we'll come back. Okay, so this is dried at the top, and so you'll need 4 inches of 3mm close chain. I do have a link for this on my blog at happybirdsglitternest.blogspot.com, and I believe it was $2.99 for a yard, and this is the 3mm close chain. And you'll also need an 8mm jump ring, a little charm. I'm using this little bronze heart that says love on it, with a 4mm jump ring attached. And I'm also using this little 6mm daisy spacer, and a little, a small glue-on pendant bail. You can use a small or a medium glue-on pendant bail. And like I said, I'll give links on my blog. So the first thing that I did was I took this cross, and just at the top here, right here, I'm going to put a little dot of glue, just enough to hold this as I put this through, and just to push like this up against that. Okay, you're going to kind of pull this downwards. So we have this. Now the next thing we're going to do is place this chain around here. And you want to make sure that it's even, both ends are even at the front. So you're not going to have too much time to play around with it. So have it laid out like this. And, oops, somebody's knocking. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. So what you're going to do is, I'm just going to put a little dab of hot glue, just the tiniest amount, here, here, and here. And then I'm going to quickly pick this up, wrap it around, make it straight at the ends, which I did, and then you're just going to press like this. See, there's not a big blob of glue or anything like that. It looks fine back there. And I really like this glue gun. This is the Surebonder Mini Detail Glue Gun. So, and this is how it looks in the front. Make sure that's turned around in the front. There we go. That's pretty. Okay. Now, you can add these charms on after you put this little pearl chain, or pearl necklace type chain on there, or you can do it afterwards. Either way, before or after. So I'm just going to do it now. I'm going to add this little 6mm daisy spacer first, because that represents the crown of thorns. And then I'm putting on the little charm that says love. I have quite a few word charms in my stash, but the only thing is they're mainly words like Merry Christmas, faith, joy. I mean, they're nice and everything, but I'm kind of limited. So I'm putting this love charm on here. I might have to open this up fairly wide. And you can, let me get my other pliers here, and then I'll just close it up. I'll just close it with my finger, what the heck, and then I'll make sure it's even. There we go. It's probably better to put this on before, but unfortunately I did not do that. There we go. And then this says love. I need to get one that's gold. Like I said, most of my charms are in the antique silver or this dark bronze, but I need to get some bright gold ones. So the last thing that we're going to do is put on the little bail, and for that you'll need E6000. Oops, let me get the one that's... Boy, I'm just having all kinds of problems here now, aren't I? Doesn't need a whole lot. You don't have to make it real gloppy. This stuff is strong, this E6000. And you just place it on here. And this sticks pretty well to this glitter paper here. So I'm just going to allow that to dry, kind of hold it up like that. And after it dries, then we'll come back and I'll show you the finished cross. Okay, so this is completely dry, so I'm just going to slip this little narrow 1/8 of an inch ribbon with a silver lining on the side as the little loop that we need in order to attach this to the Christmas tree. And I'm just going to do a simple overhand knot, just one time with this. Make sure it's nice and even before I do this. Okay. Simple overhand knot. And you're going to pull and take the scissors and just cut it at an angle at the top. You can always put a little bit of Mod Podge gloss or something like that on here. I don't know why. There we go. And then you'll have this to hang it by. So you have all kinds of lovely crosses to hang on your tree. And I think they turned out really pretty, and they weren't really expensive to make either. And I'll show you how pretty they look. Not only in the bright light, but in the low light of your Christmas tree. Look how low that light is, and they still have a beautiful shine. So I think these turned out really pretty. And I hope you give these a try. And thank you so much for sticking with me, and God bless each and every one of you. If you have the chance, please go visit my friend Crafty. I'll put the link down below in the Show More drop-down bar. She also has a lot of beautiful little charm ideas and many other things too besides that, but I wanted you to check her channel out for that. And I just thank you again, and God bless each and every one of you. Take care. Bye-bye.